5 on your side at 10 starts now.
Tonight, a data center debate in St. Charles.
I hope that I'm not the last generation of farmers.
The flow of concerns it's generating over the safety of drinking water.
Sticky in St. Louis, the heat and humidity continues, and so do our storm chances. I'll time it out for you.
Our top story, police chiefs calling for change.
Historically, we've had problems with juveniles committing crime. How do we fix the system?
The incident in St. Louis City drawing a regional response. Top cops at police agencies across our region are now sounding the alarm. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. They say now is the time to act after 2 carjackings at the hands of the same teenager in just a matter of days. 5 on your side's Brent Solomon is in the newsroom with their message tonight.
Yeah, this situation, guys, is out of St. Louis, and it's now catching the attention of leaders across our area. They say when you sit back and watch without saying anything, how is that making a difference?
We first reported a 16-year-old carjacked a Lyft driver last Tuesday night. St. Louis officers caught him. The court released him. A little more than 24 hours later, police say the same teen carjacked an Uber driver.
How do we fix the system? How do we get consistent?
It caught the attention of Lake St. Louis Police Chief Chris DiGiuseppe. His concern, juvenile offenders being caught and then released.
On felony level offenses, I think that doesn't send a good deterrent. I think it doesn't help the victims of those crimes.
The chief points to a statewide point system that helps authorities determine when to keep or release a juvenile offender. He questions if that's being applied uniformly across the board.
We hear stories from our colleagues over in St. Louis County. We catch a kid stealing a car, we take him home. Because if we take them down to juvenile, they just release them back to their parents.
He says that's not happening in St. Charles County.
What's the interpretation of the point system or the rules? And that might be a starting point for us right there.
And how do we become uniform?
And how do we become uniformed, and how do we get this right?
St. Louis Police Chief Robert Tracy said the carjackings that occurred last week highlight the need for a comprehensive review of current policies to ensure accountability while also helping young people remain safe and have access to the appropriate resources they need to change their path.
Work with our lawmakers. We're going to have to reach out and assess where we can make those changes. Is that in some type of policy? Is that in some type of law or legislation or whatnot, or practice?
Chief Tracy says the region sees violent crimes involving guns and repeat teen offenders every day. The Lake St. Louis chief, who you just heard from, is now working with the police chiefs in Bridgeton and in St. Charles County to figure out a fix.
A crash involving 2 semis has closed westbound I-64 near Washington Park for over 4 hours now. Crews are still working to clean up the scene. It happened around 5:30 when a semi carrying cars struck a bridge and stopped. Then a second semi hit the first one, critically injuring 2 people and seriously injuring another. One of the injured had a cut artery and needed a tourniquet, which officials tell us probably saved his life.
Well, we had a downpour here in the bi-state yesterday, and that caused some flooding headaches for travelers.
Let's check in with meteorologist Jim Castillo, and he's tracking possibly more rain on the way, right, Jim?
Yes, Sunday was a soaker, and we had this lightning strike, Washington, Missouri, that Paul sent in. So very stormy it got yesterday, but now look at this. There's the clear sky here around St. Louis, and that moon still almost full. We're going to see a lot of moonlight tonight, mainly clear, but then you look just to the west of us here, even some severe weather. There's a severe weather polygon right there north of Columbia, and all these thunderstorms are headed to the north, so we're not expecting them to move in tonight. But as an outflow boundary sets up from those storms and this front starts to move our way as we head into tomorrow, it's tomorrow afternoon and evening where showers and storms will once again become likely in the area. We're looking out for any severe weather, just watching the upper level winds. Again tonight, just north of Columbia, you see the upper level winds are strong enough to give them maybe a 60-mile-per-hour wind gust. And so that severe weather risk, at least for tonight, is from Springfield to just really north of Columbia. And then for tomorrow, we're not expecting severe weather, but downpours and some lightning. And I'll time time out these showers and storms on the Futurecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Jim. A St. Louis landmark was struck by lightning during a storm yesterday. Folks at the Lump Mansion tell us the strike caused some exterior damage and a power surge knocked out their phone system and internet service. All guests and workers were okay after the strike. The restaurant and inn remain open, but it's expected to be a day or two before the phones will be up and running.
We are learning more about what happened in a car crash into a house in Kirkwood yesterday. Police tell us the driver suffered a medical incident before the crash and is being treated as an accident. They don't suspect foul play. The car slammed into the house on Daughtery Ferry Road overnight on Sunday. Luckily, the two people in the house and the driver were all okay. Neighbors tell us the road is notorious for accidents and speeding's a big issue.
Well, tensions are high this week in St. Charles as a massive data center gets closer to breaking ground. An open house for residents to share their concerns and ask questions is scheduled for Thursday. The 440-acre site for the data center, known only as Project Cumulus, has been referenced in St. Charles City documents since at least March.
Andy Kroll looks into the concerns of residents and farmers over a potentially decades-long period for project.
Mike and Kelly, the proposed site is located inside the already polluted Elm Point groundwater well field. The split attitude of the city and especially the Planning and Zoning Council members when it comes to what's being called the largest construction project ever in St. Charles is now raising questions about having enough water to even run it.
I don't think words can express how worried I am.
As dangerous as too much water can be for a third-generation St. Charles farmer like Tim Klein, it's a lifesaver for data centers in the growing artificial intelligence age like the center proposed in St. Charles County.
I wake up in the morning and it's the first thing that comes into my mind is this: the protection of our water sources for generations to come.
Data centers like Project Cumulus in the proposed site around Highway 370, Harry S. Truman Boulevard, and Elm Point Road would need an enormous amount of water to keep their many servers cool and online.
How can you chance building something like this, something this dangerous, right in your wellhead water field? And why are they putting fill on top of the surface?
On July 14th, the St. Charles Planning and Zoning Commission denied a hazardous substance handling permit by a single vote, yet they approved a site plan permit with the still unnamed developer. St. Charles officials said the city has hired an engineering consultant to determine whether the city's water system needs any upgrades to meet the data center's water demand near Klein's approximately 260-acre farm.
They've approached us about putting future wells on our property, which we're not against, depending on the location.
According to the city, 60% of St. Charles's water supply is local from the Elm Point Road water treatment plant. The other 40% is bought from the city of St. Louis.
It's not if they're going to need these wells in the future. They're going to have these wells. We're going to need the water.
Last month, St. Charles Mayor Dan Borgmeyer emphasized his support for the project.
And it's a serious investment with 440 acres. It's land that probably has laid fallow for 50 years and will probably lay fallow for another 50 if we don't do something like this.
On Monday, we asked the mayor if there were any infrastructure changes on the horizon to make the data center more feasible. He told us he's signed an NDA agreement with developers, but will be meeting with them on Tuesday to get more details.
And there is a data center open house on Thursday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Foundry Arts Center. A separate Environmental Protection Agency meeting will be later at St. Charles Police Department. Klein tells us he's expecting a final council vote for the data center at City Hall on August 19th at 7 p.m.
Right now, St. Louis area residents impacted by radioactive waste can apply for compensation. Applications opened just days ago under the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act, also known as RECA. People living in 21 local zip codes who have developed certain cancers are eligible. To learn how to apply, you go to this story on KSDK.com and just click on the As Seen on TV tab. A call tonight for a state investigation into Francis Howell Schools for paying $230,000 to its former superintendent, who never worked a day for the district. Dr. Mike Dominguez resigned last month. Days later, he took another school administration job in Oklahoma. The Holy Joe Society sent a letter to the Missouri Attorney General and the state auditor questioning the use of taxpayer money.
If they'd paid the guy a couple of months, I think probably nobody would have said anything. But when the guy worked 2 days and got a year, that's bad. That smells bad.
The district says it's not legally permitted to share more information on its settlement with Dr. Dominguez.
Today marks 1 week since Boeing workers in the St. Louis area started striking. They are picketing at 3 locations in St. Louis County, St. Charles, and Mascoutah. Workers say they want better benefits, pay, and respect from management. They turned down an offer from Boeing last week, claiming it wasn't enough, especially for longtime workers.
Times are definitely tough. I don't care who's in that office. The economy, it's still hurting everybody. And the least that we can try to get is at least just some sort of better offer, so that way all of us can live not rich lives, just better, happier, surviving lives.
Boeing says their offer still stands, but now without a $5,000 bonus.
Some good news tonight. The boy who survived a terrifying fall in a St. Francis County ravine is now awake and off the ventilator. Cody Trenkle Jr. was fighting for his life just 2 weeks ago. He fell 240 feet down into a ravine near Goose Creek Lake and survived 80 hours before a canine team rescued him alive. Well, Cody is still in critical condition. He is alert, talking, even starting physical therapy. His mom tells us Cody has always been a fighter.
I've known he was a fighter since he was born. You know, he was born super preemie. And he fought for his life then, and now almost 14 years later, he's doing it again.
Doctors say Cody's progress in the last few days is remarkable, but he still faces months of rehab before he can go home.
A show-me state squabble on redistricting.
We should have already redistricted the proper way the last time.
This is bad for Missouri, and that's what we've got to say.
Tonight, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are drawing the line on a hot-button issue.
The August heat and humidity continue, and it's going to get even hotter by the end of the week. Plus, I'm timing out Tuesday storm chances.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker responded to some criticism from President Trump today. The president declared a crime emergency and federalized Washington, D.C.'s police force, even though crime stats say crime is down there. This is something he can do for 30 days under the Home Rule Act of 1973. The president says it's a move that could be done in other cities like Chicago. J.B. Pritzker responded to this, saying that would be illegal.
He has absolutely no right and no legal ability to send troops in to the city of Chicago, and so I reject that notion.
The president also commented on speculation that J.B. Pritzker could run for president, saying, quote, this is from the president, I notice he has lost a little weight, so maybe he has a chance, close quote.
And Governor Pritzker is still harboring Texas Democrats in Illinois. A week after Texas Democrats left the state to prevent a redistricting vote, the House failed to reach a quorum again today. And this means a vote on a new congressional map, flood relief, and other issues are delayed. Today, the Texas House Speaker said he asked the Texas Department of Public Safety to establish a tip line to provide information about where the Texas Democrats are. And a Texas senator has asked for help from the FBI to track down the absent lawmakers. Redistricting is also being discussed in Missouri. The Missouri Legislative Black Caucus held a news conference today, arguing against the idea of redrawing the congressional map.
While Republicans in both the State House and Senate support it. 5 on your side's Laura Barczewski is live downtown with reaction. Laura?
Mike and Kelly, of course, redrawing the congressional maps in Missouri would require a special session. And I heard from the governor's office tonight that he hasn't made a decision on whether or not to call that special session.
Last month, President Donald Trump started the push with Texas, asking its governor and state legislators to redraw the congressional map. That pressure continued down the line for largely Republican states like Missouri. The president has support from lawmakers like Representative Justin Sparks.
What Missouri Republicans are simply talking about is not gerrymandering unequal or ridiculous districts that are outside the norm. We're talking about very well thought out equal representation.
Sparks and Senator Nick Schroer are part of the Missouri Freedom Caucus, officially calling on Governor Mike Kehoe a little more than 2 weeks ago, focusing heavily on redrawing Kansas City's district.
You know, creating a competitive seat rather than just the slam dunk for Democrats on the Kansas City side. That's what voters wanted. They wanted a competitive seat so they can look at both options and see who's the best choice.
The Missouri Legislative Black Caucus says voters in KC made their choice in Congressman Emmanuel Cleaver, and they can't support redistricting.
His last election, Congressman Cleaver won 60% of the voters. He is respected by Democrats and also with some Republicans. He has held this seat since 2005.
They also say it's illegal to take on redistricting right now.
Redistricting is supposed to happen every 10 years after a U.S. census, and that's in Article 3 of the Missouri Constitution. Unfortunately, the Republicans this year has done so much to destroy the will of the people.
I posed the legality question to Senator Schroer. Is this legal to do since we had already just done this in 2022 following the census?
Absolutely. It's 100% legal to do it. It's just, what's the end result going to be? Is that going to be legal? And that's something that I think all legislators need to keep in mind.
Senator Tracy McCreary showed her support for the Black Caucus and is against redistricting at this time, but says the issue doesn't quite follow along party lines like it might seem.
It's just because things might not be going your way, you don't get to change the rules in the middle of the game. So I'm hearing from constituents, independents, Democrats, and Republicans that think that we should be respectful of the process that Missouri and other states in our country have used for decades.
A spokesperson for Governor Mike Kehoe's office said in a statement tonight, Governor Kehoe will always consider options that provide congressional districts that best represent Missourians. Reporting live downtown, Laura Barcheski, 5 on your side.
All right, meteorologist Jim Castillo joins us now with the weather impact forecast, and it's kind of quiet here, but not too far away. We're seeing some lightning, right, Jim?
Yeah, some big storms near Columbia, Missouri. So I've got a live picture here, and occasionally you can see some lightning, definitely wet on the camera lens there. But here, it's clear. It's going to be a mainly clear night. There's the arch and the moon. Just a beautiful shot there right now. And look at that temperature, 86 degrees, feels like 89 at this hour. So we had a dry day today. It was kind of stormy yesterday. So Tuesday could get a little stormy again, but today's high was about 93. And like Mike was just talking about, from Columbia through Moberly and Macon, this is a huge line of storms moving mainly to the north, maybe slightly northeast. And this polygon right here is a severe thunderstorm warning, mainly penny-sized hail and strong wind gusts to about 60 miles an hour. Widen out the shot, you can see our entire viewing area is nice and dry, but those storms are just to the west of us. So we're watching a frontal system that eventually sags our way tomorrow. It gets close enough to us to where it's likely going to trigger some showers and storms in the afternoon. And then we'll see at these upper level winds. This is that support that is kind of ramping up those showers and storms to the severe limits right across and north of Columbia, with those wind gusts to about 60 miles an hour. So tonight, that chance of severe weather in green here, low level 1, right through Springfield and Branson and just north of Columbia. But tomorrow, we'll watch that front sag our way and that shower thunderstorm chance, mainly heavy rain and lightning like we had on Sunday. But we can't rule out a strong wind gust either. And checking out that storm energy, we're just watching the instability. It's with us throughout the afternoon and evening, all that red and orange that you see there. And so that futurecast, checking that out, showers and storms blowing up across the area. Again, this is about 5:30 p.m. And again, if this model is correct, we'll see a more widespread shower and thunderstorm cluster like we had on Sunday somewhere in the viewing area and kind of hanging out. Here's 8:30 p.m., more shower and storm chances, and then that gets out of here. But we still are watching high pressure build. Look at this. As we get into the weekend, it's going to get hot again and stay with us all the way through Saturday and Sunday. So here's the 7-day forecast. About 90 tomorrow. Watching for that shower and thunderstorm chance mainly afternoon and evening. And then 88 on Wednesday. Lesser chances of a storm, but then it dries out, heats up. Friday 94, 96 Saturday, 97 Sunday. And the heat index as high as about 105 over 6.
Yeah, wow.
Heat returns.
We're in August still, so this is the time.
Yes.
Jim, thanks.
Here's Frank with sports.
Kelly, the Cardinals are just finding ways to win. Another honor for their best prospect, and we're playing hit and run with a woman who used to intern right here, and now she's hit the big time at ESPN. Miles Michaelis got the ball tonight against the Rockies, and not even Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz loves home more than Michaelis. His last 4 road starts, his earned run average has been over 12. His last 4 home starts, his ERA is under 2. Let's go to Busch and find out if the home cooking worked again tonight. Miles came out of the gates flying. Tyler Freeman, first hitter of the game, and Miles got him with a nasty curveball. He went 6 2/3 innings, allowed 4 hits and just 2 runs. The Cardinals will open the scoring in the 3rd. Alec Burleson with a base hit to right. Victor Scott scored, and it's 1-0 Cardinals. 8th inning, 2-1 Brewers. Brendan Donovan pinch hitting delivers a shot to right that scores 2, and the Cardinals led it 3-2. Donovan, nursing a groin injury, had not played since Friday. Kyle Leahy went the final 2 1/3 innings. The Cardinals, with their 29th come from behind win, the final 3-2. After the game, the topic was Brendan Donovan.
Hasn't played in a couple days to go out there, take a big at bat in a big moment. That's an awesome swing there, and to be able to drive into that worked out perfectly, and we need to continue to build off of that. But that's a fun moment for everybody.
He's an all-star. That's what he's supposed to do. Now he's got to carry that all-star badge with him. So he's got to do those things on a regular basis. Save us when we need him. But that's big.
J.J. Weatherholt keeps pounding on the door to the big leagues. Today, the infielder was named the Cardinals Minor League Player of the Month for July. He combined to hit .306 with an 11.03 OPS for Springfield and Memphis. 16 RBIs, 7 home runs, and 14 extra base hits made him an easy choice. The basketball Billikens announced their non-conference schedule today, and they will play 10 games at Chavitz, including a rematch with Grand Canyon, who's made the NCAA tournament for the last 5 years. Their first game will be against SEMO here on November 3rd. We often play hit and run on Mondays with a sports celebrity. Michelle Smallman is becoming a big deal at ESPN. She went to Althoff and then interned right here at KSDK. She's talented, and you will find out pretty quick.
Check 1, 2, check. Yeah, the Dodgers are good. Yeah, they've acquired a bunch of talent. We get it.
Interviewee that intimidated you the most?
Probably when I was fresh in this business, Tony La Russa. Only because, and he was so nice and so generous with his time, but he's the smartest baseball mind that I'll ever come across, so I knew that my questions had to be A+. You can't just throw softballs at TLR. He's gonna check you on that, so I knew I had to be really buttoned up for that one.
Interview where you said to yourself, I can't believe I'm talking to this person.
Well, I'm a huge Dan Marino person. Growing up, my dad and I both loved Dan Marino, so getting the opportunity to facilitate an interview with him and sit down with him was probably one of the coolest moments of my entire life.
Most embarrassing moment on radio or TV for you so far?
Well, day one of Unsportsmanlike, literally day one, my national television debut, I sat down in this chair with a black eye. So I don't know how it can get any more embarrassing than that.
If you were not doing sports media, what do you think you'd be doing with your life right now?
I always say whenever I'm done with this, I want to open up a coffee shop, flower shop, that is a community space that's the best part of everyone's day.
Dream co-host for one show, who do you take?
Dream co-host for one show, probably Stephen A. Smith, because all I'd have to do is say hello. It would be a great success.
What do you miss most about not being in St. Louis?
My family.
What's your message to young women thinking about breaking into the sportscasting industry?
If I can do it, you can do it. I have no business sitting in this chair other than the fact that I stuck with it and worked really hard. I don't have any parents or any friends in the industry. I was not a professional athlete. I didn't even play at the collegiate level. But if I can do it through hard work and dedication, so can you. So go for it.
She is something else, and she really credits her father for getting her addicted to sports at a young age.
It seems like 5 minutes ago she was in the sports office with
What
you
year again?
as one of our interns.
2006, I believe, yeah.
She didn't credit you at all, though.
Why should she? I didn't. She passed me long ago.
All right, when we come back, the record-breaking concert at the Illinois State Fair. Who this artist beat out to take the crown. A new attendance record at the Illinois State Fair last night. Country singer Megan Maroney took the grandstand stage and performed in front of 15,532 people. That's about 100 more than the previous record set last year at the Lil Wayne concert. Tomorrow night, Missouri native Sheryl Crow will perform on the grandstand.
Expect another cold and snowy winter this year, but not as extreme as last year. The Farmer's Almanac says this winter won't be as bone-chilling. Now, as Jim can tell you, the Farmer's Almanac is not generally considered a reliable source for weather forecasting, but it's been around for more than 200 years, and they say to expect a more old-fashioned winter. And if you were hoping for a white Christmas, they predict the best chance of that happening is in the northern plains. You have something to say about the Farmer's Almanac, Jim?
They say it every year to sell the period or whatever, the books. So there you go.
Yeah. So you're saying not so trustworthy?
No, it seems like our winters are shorter, and we're going to probably have winter from January to February, and that's it.
Yeah, it won't feel like that in the next couple of days, that's for sure. Winter,
No.
I mean.
Yeah, hot and humid.
Yeah.
Storm chance tomorrow.
There you have it, 5 on your side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+.
Be sure to start your day with Today in St. Louis at 5 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.